Welcome, everybody, to the Snapped podcast. My name is Tyler Kluver, and let's consider this a personal audio journal of mine. A lot of rambling, a lot of random stuff, anything relevant in my personal life that has to do with health, fitness, diet, business, being an entrepreneur, and simply trying to unlock the avenues of personal growth that help me find the most happy, fulfilling, and free life that I can live. I hope that you guys can take something away from the show and maybe find some entertainment in it as well. Thank you so much for listening, and let's get to it.
Let's get to it. We are going to record this podcast. It is Wednesday, January 11th, 2023. Welcome in to the Snap podcast. And evidently there are people who listen to this. Shout out to Cade if you've made it to episode 107, 106, 7, 8, somewhere around there. One of the Washed Up Walk On Army most dedicated, most loyal followers. And evidently, at the time that I'm recording this, he was somewhere around episode 50. He's been listening to these Snapped podcasts, I guess, straight through. He's listened to 50 of them in a month. So shout out to Cade. Shout out to everybody else who listens to this show. Anyone who tunes into this thing. First of all, I don't advertise it. And so you either found it through the link tree in my Instagram bio or heard me mention that I do another podcast that I don't talk about and then went and sought this out, or I might have been scammed. I might have been uh, snitched on by the algorithm where when you search the Washed Up Walk-Ons or you're in the Washed Up Walk-Ons app, it suggests this podcast because it's by the same author, Tyler Kluver. So could have been any three of those. Nonetheless, there's 250 or 300 of you guys who listen to this thing. And I'm glad you're here. Last week, we did not have an episode because, to be honest, work and dad life kind of got on top of me. It was Wednesday afternoon already, and we had shit to do. And I had not been in the groove of recording these podcasts because a month ago, when baby arrived, I pre-recorded. In fact, the day 2 days before 2 days before she was born, I pre-recorded 3 episodes and then scheduled those ahead of time to just release on the YouTube and on the audio platform. And so for basically 3-4 weeks, I didn't have to worry about it. It was out of sight, out of mind. I kind of like that. I think I may do that here moving forward. It allows me to sit down and dedicate maybe an hour, 90 minutes. We know I like to talk long. An hour or 90 minutes of my time to this podcast, to this creative outlet, maybe every 3 or 4 weeks. And it wouldn't have to be something where I sit down and every single Wednesday take this random 45 minutes to just do this. We'll see. I don't know if I like this or the other way better. But I know one thing. When I'm ready to record and I have topics to talk about and I'm in this mode, I can kind of rip off episodes. And it seems like it would be more efficient to record, pause, or whatever, stop the recording, start it up again, new topic, stop, start it up again, new topic, and rattle off 3 or 4 different episodes. And then do all the graphics for them, the YouTube thumbnails, the descriptions, produce them, put them all up on the platform, and then just have a month ready to go. We'll see what happens. I've got 10 ideas for episodes all lined up on a list. And a lot of times I don't even go to that list for ideas or topics. So plenty of ammo in the chamber to do that system, and it's always being replenished. We'll see. For those watching the episode, which is 1 or 2 of you, maybe 5 people if I'm lucky, this becomes a big episode, which it probably won't because it's as we get past this intro here, it's going to be more of an update, one of those self-update podcasts. But I am bright. This light is bright. I have see if I can turn it down even more. There we go. I bought a ring light, which is enhancing the podcast quality. Maybe I put it down one. Yeah, there we go. Still messing around with that. It's currently sitting kind of between the gap in my two monitors. It's not really sitting in the best spot. You can kind of see it off the glare of my glasses there. But we're trying to make this whole podcast operation a little bit more quality, a little bit more high end, trying to make things better, make the viewing, listening, consuming experience better for you. So that's an update there. Might be getting a new webcam as well. Haven't decided upon that yet. And all the things. I really, honestly, have been messing around with layouts too. So for those that are watching the YouTube, I'll throw up a kind of overlay for the wash up walk ons that I've created that kind of makes the screen a little bit better. If I ever turn this podcast into a more polished, produced version of itself and try to start putting out content to really supplement my fitness training business, that would be probably worth the time to make the clips look better and to put videos out on like an Instagram page or something. All ideas sort of you can hear in my head that are um, matriculating, sort of stirring, stewing, brewing, all those terms. As we enter the new year here, we're almost 2 weeks in, and I've got just a lot of ideas. Um, I think that, when it comes to the fitness side of things, I personally don't, at least up until this point in my life, haven't needed a resolution per se. I don't feel the need or the motivation, fitness and diet wise, for me to make massive changes. And part of that is by design. I'm already doing the things that I want to be doing and that I feel I need to be doing to reach my goals in November, December. There might be a slight refocus and a little bit of a renewed energy as the new year comes around and we're past the holidays and we don't have to deal with those. But I do certainly feel that New Year's resolution, new ideas, new ventures, new things, new for the business side of things, right? For this podcast, for the Washed Up Walk-Ons, for other ideas that I have coming in the fitness space. So I think that part of the ring light, the all the other things that I'm talking about here, um, I think it's important to capitalize, I guess, on when you feel those creative juices flowing. Um, don't wait. That's not a topic of this episode, but it kind of feels like a topic on the mind this second. Don't wait when you have ideas or a motivation or an inspiration to do something or create something. The only regret you'll have is if you don't do it. And if you do, and whatever that creative project or idea or energy was doesn't turn out to be what you thought it was going to be, at least you tried, right? At least you know the answer. Whereas if you sit back and, uh, you know, you kind of dwell on something, I should do this. I should start this business. I should start working out. I should do this. I should build out a garage gym. I should start eating healthier, whatever it may be. You're going to regret it every single day until you don't do it. So, a random thought for today's episode. All right, let's take a breath. I need air. I was talking fast and I was literally losing. I need like to breathe. So, little update on myself. In fact, I'm going to be going to work out after this. We'll give a little bit of a Tyler Kluver training update, personal competition update on myself. As you guys know, before the baby hit, I had, I think, 3 episodes in a row where I talked about taking time off, thought I was healed. I wasn't. My back was hurt. I was reduced to barely getting out of bed, couldn't move. I was hurt. I was injured. Then I had the kid. Essentially, all of November and December were completely fucked training wise. I would say half of November, pretty much November, 3 to 4 weeks, in there, I did absolutely no working out at all, um, relative to what I was doing before. And on the few days where I would get something in, it would be purely cardio. I'd hop on the Peloton and just spin the legs and try and sweat and rev up the heart rate a little bit, and that's all I could do. And so, as you can imagine, going from heavy Olympic lifting, heavy power lifting, all the elements that go into CrossFit and what is involved in CrossFit competition, going just to bike for a month. And then after that, when my back started to feel better and I tried to test it and it still wasn't ready, and I said, fuck it, I'm gonna work out as best I can, right? Doing body weight movements, maybe messing around with the dumbbells if they don't hurt my back too much. And then that was basically what December looked like. That put together was 2 months of not touching a barbell, not doing any sort of strength work outside of a couple workouts where I grabbed 75-pound dumbbells. Excuse me, there's a yawn. And did some deadlifts, did a few squats. All in all, and this is probably a topic for an entire episode, but it is wildly impressive how resilient the body is, especially if you, while during a period of down regulation in your exercise, in your lifting, in your cardio, um, find a minimal effective dose, come back after 2 months of literally not even cleaning an empty barbell or snatching an empty barbell. And the other day, I think I hit a 205 or 215 pound um, power snatch, hang power snatch, which is quite honestly maybe 10 pounds off of where I was 2 months ago. I lost maybe 5% strength, maybe 3 to 5% strength with absolutely zero lifting. Um, that's impressive. That's impressive. And I'm not even 100% right now, still. So mentally, you can go through a lot of weird things there where with me working out 15 hours a day before all this went down, circa October and everything's going fine. And then I'm reduced to literally for a couple weeks, 0 hours of activity. And at the most, maybe 5 hours on a Peloton bike. It felt like I fell off a cliff. It felt like everything that I had done was for naught. And that's tough to deal with, especially when you have a competition or a season where you'd like to compete on the horizon, which is where we're going to go next year. Um, but the idea, I think the prevailing thought through that time was if you do what you can, and I think unless you get fucking run over by a car, you can do something. If you hurt your shoulder, you can do squats, you can do lunges. If you hurt your legs, you can find a way to work the upper body. If something bigger hurts, like in my instance, my back, you can hop on a bike and move the legs, right? You can find something to do that will be beneficial for your fitness. And by doing so, your body will be stimulated just enough. You will get a response from your body that says, "Hey, don't lose all this fitness." Of course, at the extremely far end level that I was working out and doing activity each day, the physique side of things, the aesthetic side of things for me, took a small hit. I won't say that I went backwards a ton. Certainly put on a little bit of body fat, um, with decreasing my overall activity to about a third of what it was, and then adding on top of that, um, the fact that there was no strength training, which is, has that after effect. You're not doing anything to promote muscle growth. You're not giving yourself those crazy heavy lifting days that are promoting the calories that you are eating to be turned into muscle and not fat. The growth hormone response, the metabolic response. all of that combined with 6 weeks. Really, it's continued 8 weeks, 2 months plus of not ideal eating up until basically last week. People bringing us meals because we have the kid. Um, and then throw on top of that, the last 3 to 4 weeks, just severely altered sleep from what I was before, right? I've taken a bunch of hits in the last 2 months, and generally, I still look pretty good, right? The body fat percentage may have jumped, I don't know, 2 or 3% in a couple months, but that was maybe from 9 or 10% to 12 or 13%, right? Still muscular, still fit, functional, all the things. So, um, where does that leave me, right? Where does that leave us as you guys are here to follow the journey? Well, the Open, CrossFit Open, which we've talked about, and we will continue to talk about as we go through it here, I believe is in 36 or 37 days. Let's see. Today's a Wednesday. So it's 36 days because it starts on a Thursday, and 35 days would be the factor of a perfect week. So 36 days as I record this until the CrossFit Open. I have 1 month and 5 or 6 days to continue to do what I can to prepare myself for that first week. Do I feel like I lost ground during those 2 months on being near the elite level of the sport, a level that could compete during the quarterfinals, and still at a rare long shot, but have a chance at sliding into a semifinal? Yeah, I certainly am not at that level anymore. Um, the margins up at that altitude of the sport are so thin that if you take a couple days off, right, you take a week off, you're going to lose ground because everybody at that level is always so cutting edge, so dialed in, so much pushing forward. Um, so we're not there, and we're not going to be there this year, unfortunately. Maybe next year. This was a 2-year process. This was sort of a, hey, let's make a long shot run at the semifinals in 23, and then let's use a full other year in 24, see if we can do something. That 24 is still in play. And now that we're starting to figure out the kid a little bit more, the schedule will be a little bit more routine as we get into next year's off season and then next year's in season. We may have a chance there. But for this season, I've got 35 days, and I'm going to push as hard as I can with the schedule that I currently have and the amount of time that I currently want to spend, knowing how much, I'll actually be able to do in quarterfinals. And for me right now, that's about 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, with 75 minutes on Thursday of sort of the zone 2 active recovery, and then maybe 30 minutes on Sundays of, oh, excuse me, there's a second yawn. Sundays of just a little bit of blood flow, flush, cool down movement. Um, I don't know what the goals are. I don't. I still feel like if I'm stretched and I'm loose and the back feels good, it's having a good day. I still feel like there might be a chance that even after the 2 months I went through, the fitness level that I currently am at may rival where I was last year during the Open. I really, I think it might be close. So I suppose the goal is just to beat last year, right? Beat the individual scores of week 1, 2, and 3 last year, try and place higher every single week, which would therefore give me the aggregate higher placing overall in the Open. Um, and depending on how I feel during the Open and what I'm capable of and where I see myself on the leaderboard, I think that's what will determine probably the goals for the quarterfinals. Um, Certainly don't have the goal of maybe slipping into a semifinal spot anymore. I know I'm not there. I lost ground on some serious strength numbers that I had to get up. Um, I definitely haven't been able to train a couple things, and I've done a couple workouts in the last couple days that have shown me I'm very much so not where I need to be. So we'll see, right? And that's tough. It's frustrating. It's annoying, but I look at it from a different perspective of, hey, we're somewhat healthy. we feel decent. We can go out, we can work out, we can run, we can bike, we can row, we can move weight, and it's not absolutely debilitating. And we're still pretty healthy, and it feels good. In the end, it just feels good, and the general endorphins of working out and being healthy is sort of the win in the end. So that's where we're at. That's an update on me. I think next week I've already got one full episode typed out um, on RPE, rate of perceived exertion. We'll do a couple more, maybe 2 or 3 more next week. I'll pre-record all 4 of them, and then I'll pump out and crank out and have 4 weeks worth of episodes ready to debut for you guys every Wednesday at like noon. And we'll see how that goes. Till then, hope you guys enjoyed, took something away. Thanks for listening. Peace.